Mr. Forsyth, you claim that what's happening in Biafra is genocide and massacre on a very large scale.
Yeah.
What evidence do you have for this?
It's mainly threefold. Partly my own eyewitness experiences. I followed the Biafran army very closely on a number of occasions. At one occasion, at Onitsha, I came across 300 members of the Apostolic Church at Onitsha slaughtered by the Federal 2nd Division.
Did you actually see these bodies?
Yes, I helped clear them out of the road. The Biafran army was so shocked they wouldn't march past them. It took us 18 hours to clear the bodies out of the way. And they had all had their hands tied behind their backs and had been shot at close range. On another occasion...
Did you count these bodies?
Personally, one by one, no. The estimate was 300. I think it was probably a fairly fair estimate. They were piled as high as a man's shoulder, like logs stacked on the roadside. On another occasion, a man whom I know was a photographer working for the Biafrans took a photograph very shortly after a village had been completely wiped out. And you can see still the bodies lying around the market square where they were shot down. Secondly, from eyewitness sources, survivors of the massacres. And thirdly, from interrogations of federal prisoners who, when the IGBO captors have been sent out of the way, admit, quite frankly, that they are there to wipe out IGBO. That's what they admit.
But what do they say? What did they say that their orders were?
They don't mention what their orders were. They don't seem to be taking any notice of orders anymore. They're taking frightful casualties, and in revenge for these casualties, they seem to be going on a blood rampage, which has nothing to do with what Lagos is saying about the rehabilitation of the IGBO and how they're all going to be treated as equal citizens of Nigeria. In other words, there is such a disparity between what Lagos is saying on the one hand and what the federal army is actually doing on the ground. One has to come to the conclusion either Lagos is lying, and I don't think they are, I think they're quite sincere, or that the federal army of 80,000 brand new raw conscripts has gone out of control.
What about the bombing of Biafra? The federal government has claimed that they've only been attacking strategic targets.
Well, this is absolute nonsense. They may have given orders for the attacking of strategic targets, but the pilots they're using are almost exclusively Egyptian. And I've examined too many sites of bombing raids to be of any other conclusion that almost without exception, they go straight for civilian centers. Anything that's protected by even light machine guns, they stay well away from. They just go down on schools, hospitals, and the African townships and the markets, all of which, during the course of a working day, are crammed with women and children. Very little else.
There is other evidence. On January the 29th,
So IBB launched his book recently where he makes so many revelations, one of which was the annulment of June 12 election. And he brought figures out about who won. And so I'm wondering, what does IBB want us to do with such information after so many years? Because a lot of people that participated in that election have all died. What do we do with such information? He also made a revelation saying that there was no Igbo coup. Oh, so there was no Igbo coup, and the Igbo race, they've been profiled for decades in that country. You allow the Igbo race to be profiled over the years in that country. Now just coming out to say there was nothing like Igbo coup. How do you appease the Igbo? How do you appease the Igbo? How does the Nigerian state appease the Igbos? There's this saying that people say that when you go to the Igbo land and you are not Igbo, nobody sells you property. But there hasn't been anybody that has actually come out to prove that rumor. Nobody has come out. That is how far the profiling has gone. Then you just come out to write book and now everybody elder statesman and all that. No, you're not. I'm not considering you as an elder statesman. After all the atrocities you've done to that country, people like you should be rotting in jail, not being celebrated. They should be rotting in jail. Just like how a serving or former president will just come out. You will be one of the people that brought that country to where it is today. You run that country aground. Then when you leave office, you start writing books and all that. What? And you expect people to be clapping for you, whereas you were the people, one of the people that have destroyed that country since 1960. All of you should be in jail if Nigeria was a sane country. No, Nigeria isn't a sane country. That is, all of you are walking freely in the streets of that country and making whatever laws and all that. All of you should be rotting in jail. But no, Nigeria isn't a sane country. That is why you will come out and be launching books everywhere. People buying, clapping, and celebrating and marrying and all that.
Nigerians are very unfair to Babangida. Really? Yes. Because Babangida came out. When I said that the story is not complete, I wanted President Babangida to write more of the stories. There are officers who asked Babangida, no, you cannot hand over to this man. There are people, this is why we needed, Nigerians are not very fair to Babangida. He came out on his own to say things that nobody ever said, that we could have respected people to say things he said. For example, what he said about the Igbos, that the military coup was not Igbo coup. And people have held the Igbos on ground for this particular sin, which they never committed. Major Kaduna Nzogwu never spoke Igbo, although he's from Igbo land. He was born and brought up in Kaduna. And he was just a forthright officer who wanted a new Nigeria. It was when few officers refused to do what they're supposed to do that it became a problem. If they have gone ahead to execute the coup in eastern Nigeria, execute it here and there will be no problem. So some people either develop cold feet or found another strategy.
Well, when you say some Nigerians are not fair to IBB,
Yeah.
Are you referring to the Abacha family who are aggrieved?
No, I'm
just
not
a moment, sir.
sir.
Just a moment, sir. Are you referring to MK Abiola family, or you are referring to those who were incarcerated and those who were jailed and spent many years in prison, and those who lost their life, family of those who lost the Vasta family and the rest?
The man, this is why that more military people that were there should talk about. There should be second part of the book. Because if you mention only one name or two names, or they are not interested, they should go all hog and tell Nigerians the truth. Because I know the top military men, Babangida should write the second book. I know Babangida was in danger throughout this period. If you remember the way he left power, you will know something was wrong.
You know what could have stopped him from handing over to Abiola?
Well, I don't know because I'm not a military man, but I know something was wrong.
So when you exonerate him in that manner, for those of Nigerians...
No, I'm not saying he's exonerated. He has his own life to live. But I'm talking on the point of where he has exonerated the Igbos.
So you imagine that he should be commended.
He should be commended. Because the rest of the country have held battles against the Igbos. Forget people like us that you see the face of Nigeria. You see us, we represent what Nigeria should be. We don't know Igbo, we don't know Hausa, we don't know Yoruba. We only know Nigeria. Forget about it. They have maltreated our people in this country because of the Civil War, which offense we never committed. Many Igbos, many of my brothers and sisters have suffered because of the Civil War.
In what way?
And none of the generals was able to come out and say, Igbos never participated in this.
In what way would you say Igbos have suffered because of the alleged tagging of an Igbo coup? Just for a moment, sir. Just a moment, sir.
When last you made Igbo man to sensitive position in this country? People, because they say that Igbos planned the coup, people were afraid.
So you are